remember waking up on day 6, and at this point it's the solo, and I'm waking up in my tent alone, nobody around me for miles. Like if I look to my left and I look to my right, there's absolutely nobody around. My face, because I had my sunglasses with me, that was the only way I could see my own reflection. You're out in the wilderness, there are no mirrors, no bathrooms. My face in my sunglasses, I could see my eyelids were swollen shut. It looked like I had been punched out in each eye. My lips were swollen and my hands were the size of mittens. Yes, we did technically have clothes because we were located in the northern woods of Minnesota near the Canadian border. With the amount of mosquitoes and the amount of bugs, if we didn't have clothes, this isn't South America, we probably would have had died. Not to say that the bugs aren't bad there, but I'm just saying the mosquitoes were nonstop. A tornado touched down. It was hailing the size of golf balls at a certain point. I have bruises all over my body. Let's just get a quick ooh. Yes, kick line. Let's go. I'll put some photos up here from when I first finally had gotten picked up. Then you can sort of like see the bruises when they were fresh. The lighting sort of like washes them out. They're very intense. But yeah, I wanted to talk about why would I sign myself up for this camping experience in which you felt like you almost nearly died. Why would I do that to myself? What I learned from that experience, the nights I spent alone in that experience, and then the nights I spent with other people in that experience, and what living almost damn near like an animal outside for so long, what it teaches you about yourself, and what I've humbly learned throughout this experience. So thank you guys. I know that this is a dating channel, but I just wanted to share this story. I had not been posting on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is actually running itself. But since over the past like 2 weeks, 10 days, I've literally been outside every single second of those days. So cut to, I'm having breakfast, I'm having coffee. And we're just gonna do this like stream of consciousness style because there was so much that happened on the trip, like I don't even know where to begin. But I first want to start off by saying, what is Voyager Outward Bound School? Because that is what I did. This is like the most hardcore wilderness expedition. It's actually quite difficult to describe it to people because it's not just like wilderness education and you're sleeping outside. It's like you're carrying packs that are heavier than you. You're pushing yourself. You're working as a team. You all get a group. You do something called the solo where you have to camp by yourself and the group gets separated. And it's an integral part of the learning process. And essentially working with a group, it's like you really have to hold your own. You're getting bit by bugs. Every time you go to the bathroom, you have to expose yourself like to all of nature. There is no showers. So you're just like, the smell that you carry with you on these trips is like quite disgusting. It's quite difficult. And when your mind like just like wants to lose itself, you literally can't because you're in a group, you're in a team. It's sort of like island mentality. Like the group of like the 6 or 7 people you're going to be traveling with, you're going to get to know them better than your own family, which actually brings me to my next point. It takes being in survival in the wilderness with a small community of people for you to finally recognize how much you lacked community as you've grown up throughout your entire life. It takes being around genuine people without the phones, without the technology, but it's not like that. It's like just being in the wilderness with these people. It makes you realize like, holy crap, like I haven't even talked to my family as much as I'm like talking to these random people I just met. That's how like messed up our society is. And it's not just like on a societal level, like for me personally, where I grew up, the area that I grew up in, it was very vapid. And I always felt like I'm going insane. I'm going insane for needing emotional connection. I'm going insane for needing more. And that feeling of like you're going insane, you gaslight yourself so you can just bear in the reality that you're in. You say, it's fine, I don't need this, I'm over dramatic, it's just my crappy situation, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, when you're placed in a survival circumstance where everyone around you like becomes your community, you just realize like how much emotional connection you lacked and how much emotional connection you lack growing up. I mean, like, it's insane how disconnected we are. And it's not just like a matter of technology. Like, think about your family. You can live in a house. You could just live in a house and never see and never talk to each other. You've been utterly alone your whole life, and now when you're out in the wilderness, you have no other choice but to freaking face it. I remember like the first thing they had us do when we got on the trip was like immediately we're stripped down to our bathing suits and like we have to go into the water with our canoes, the lake water. And mind you, the mosquitoes in Minnesota. The weather was so bad when we were out there, you guys, we made national news. Like, it's actually not normal for the weather to be this bad. I think that we had a extra hard type of a trip. And like, so we change into our bathing suits, we go into the water with the canoes, and the first thing we have to do is capsize the canoe. We have to flip the canoe over on our head, rock it, flip it over, so then you're just like swimming, and then you have to grab the canoe, you have to grab your paddles and these types of things. So like that's just like the first thing that they have you do. And then you leave the bathing suits, you get into like the clothes that you're going to be wearing for the trip, and the first night you're immediately sleeping outside, and there's no escaping, there's no shelter. And being without shelter is just like, it's such a unique experience because we pass by the outdoors all the time, right? Like, you're just always passing by. You just don't realize like how difficult it is to actually like drop yourself in a field and survive. And we started out with 7 members, and we actually lost a team member, like not to death, but the 3rd day a team member quit. Usually you can't forfeit the experience, but because it was like just early on enough, there was a way to get this team member back to base somehow. But it's difficult when you lose a team member because it's like the island mentality. You guys are really all relying on each other to survive. So then now you're carrying the food packs for this person. Now you're carrying like the stuff. And you just have to keep pushing yourself. And this was like a group of girls and boys, like guys and girls, like dudes and chicks, whatever you want to call it. And it's just such a great experience because like you really just bond with people on such a human level, whatever that means. And so if you're looking for something to figure out like compassion, being in a team where you only have to rely on each other will make you the most compassionate person that you can be, because you know how hard it is when that person is portaging the canoe, metal bar on their neck, and slipping up a rock with their wet shoes. And like, this actually happened to one of our people, slipping up the rock with her wet shoes and the canoe on her like neck, and the canoe literally fell. I'll never forget it. Fell on her back, and then she just gets up right away. I only hurt my ear, I can keep going. And then like you're just like forced to look inwards at yourself, like how can I help my team? Like luckily, like one of the guys there was like so great, he helped me face my fear of picking up the canoe. However, it was a fear of mine, and I cried, and I was the only one crying, y'all. I was the only one crying. I cried in front of everyone. Like I cried like 3 days in a row just because it's hard. Like, it's hard. It's very hard, but you learn so much about yourself, and then you get this feeling that you can't get anywhere else when you come home. It's this feeling of confidence, not only confidence, but everything around you is so vibrant. Like, you appreciate life in a different way. And then you're able to accept the fact that like other people have hurt you, burnt you, gaslit you, but you know how to survive in the wilderness. And there's just something about that. experience that you can't take in a drug, that you can't take in a self-help book. It's just something you actually have to experience for yourself. So to wrap up this video, I am going to link down Voyager Outward Bound School if you guys are just like more interested in learning what it's about. Every area is different, but I know it all relies on the same principles and values and everything. And I really hope that this video has inspired somebody out there to sort of understand that the entire message of this school I went to is you're capable of more than you know. It may take putting yourself in a survival near-death circumstance to actually feel that. Like when it was hailing outside. This is another thing. A tornado touched down by us, right? And it was hailing one time. And the hail was literally this big. I threw my life jacket over my head even though we weren't supposed to. Like it's amazing what fight or flight can do. Anyways, okay. I feel like this has been a full rant. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next